Hey there, and welcome to GamePoints, our weekly little get-together. We talk about the past week in gaming news. I am, as always, your host, Stephen Brown. Joining me today is...
David Smith, the greatest.
the greatest. If you are watching us live here at Twitch TV, thank you. We do stream every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here at Twitch TV/GamePoints. And if you happen to be in the chat, please feel free to jump in any conversation that we have going on. We tend to respond to you in a pretty timely manner. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and whatever you want down below. We try to get to you as fast as we can on that. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some Darksiders 3 reveal that happened last week, some Far Cry rumors, Risk of Rain 2 for a little bit. But before we get into any of that, David, have you seen the new Blade Runner trailer?
I have seen the new Blade Runner trailer.
What do you think?
I think it looks pretty cool. I like things that Ridley Scott's involved with. I know he's not directing it, but he's, I think, producing or writing. He's heavily involved, at least. There's that. Harrison Ford's back. That's exciting. I didn't know that. But you know what I got while I was watching the trailer? The biggest thing?
What was that?
It was immediately reminding me of another movie that had a reboot recently.
Total Recall?
But it was one of the good ones.
RoboCop. I've seen either one of them.
Mad Max.
Oh, yeah, Mad Max is a good reboot.
The cinematography, the colors, the lighting, the way they use different atmospheric effects really made me think of Mad Max. And with that movie coming out so good, I'm actually anxious to see what Blade Runner turns out to be.
I was happy with the trailer until about... because like the music was on point. They're essentially using the same soundtrack, it sounded like. The tone was good until the last like third of it, when you start seeing like the explosions and the car wrecks, and I'm just like, no, this is not Blade Runner. Stop. Blade Runner was never a Michael Bay flick, so I was kind of turned off by that. Hopefully it's minimized. Beeves Weaves, thanks for joining in chat. We always appreciate it. And I think now that we have people in chat, let's go ahead and start with the show. This is GamePoints episode 88. Once again, thank you for watching. Every week we get together and talk about last week in gaming news. And speaking of gaming news, let's go ahead and kick things right off with the fact that Darksiders 3 was announced last week.
Woo.
A lot of this information
Darksiders was on the fence because with THQ going under and all that nonsense that happened, I actually really liked the first two Darksiders games. I thought they were fun. I mean, they're not the greatest games in the world, but for me, they were just fun.
They're solid Zelda games.
Yeah. So the fact that, well, I mean, obviously Nordic had their whole rebranding. Now they're THQ Nordic. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and now they're actually building Darksiders 3. I'm pretty stoked for. Plus, it seems like a lot of the original team is involved in this project.
Yeah, a lot of the ex-Virgil Studios employees are working on this. This is via IGN. THQ Nordic and Gunfire Games have announced that Darksiders 3 is currently in development and scheduled to release sometime in 2018 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. The game is to be set in an open-world action adventure. The game is set to be an open-world action adventure that includes a focus on exploration and environmental puzzles, and will continue the series' staple hack-and-slash-combat with its new protagonist, Fury. So it sounds more or less like they're not going to be changing the formula of the other ones. I like Fury a lot as a character. There was some internet bitching about, oh, they're just trying to put a woman in there, and these motherfuckers don't know the Darkseid's lore to begin with, because Fury was always a woman from the concept art in the first one. So get over it.
All I care about is the fact that she's got Ivy's chain whip from Soul Calibur.
Yeah, the game looks entertaining. The problem is, I think this is going to wind up being your next Mirror's Edge Catalyst or your next Dishonored 2. A game that a lot of people say they want, but no one will end up playing.
Depends on when they release it.
2018. If they find that...
like, if they bust that game out in April, they'll probably get some sales.
Well, April, like this year's April? Hell no.
No, I mean next year.
Yeah,
like
but
2018.
But when I say if the catalog is as crowded as this year's April was, with how many good games came out in April, you're fucked. You need to find a time period like what Dying Light found, when there's nothing. And Dying Light was a good game, but it wasn't great. It could stand up to that yearly onslaught of the big titles. This has the potential of being that. You need to release it like middle of June when nothing is going on.
That's fair.
And we'll see how that shakes out. But yeah, I know Darksiders has its like fan base, but is it really big enough to justify a third game?
Dude, I need all the games. I want to go through the whole damn horse list.
Well, they really only have you figure they could justify at least one more because you need all 4 horsemen, and then you'll probably have your 5th game with all 4 of them together, and that'll be your co-op hack and slash.
Oh man, I'd play the shit out of that game.
Uh,
The 4-player co-op Darksiders game, dude. Come on, it's like Gauntlet Legends, but against a bunch of demons. That sounds awesome.
that could be good. I don't want to like bash Darksiders. I'm not bashing Darksiders, by the way. It's a competent franchise. I have enjoyed my time with the first 2. It just seems to be a well that people keep going back to. I mean, we'd had that Darksiders 2 Definitive Remaster Edition.
Oh, dude, the War Mastered Edition and all that shit.
Yeah, did those games sell enough to really even justify those? Like, it feels like they just keep... It has... I don't know. It just something doesn't seem right.
There was a Humble Bundle that came out recently that had the Darksiders, all the remastered editions you could buy for like $10, and you get them all for PS4, like the new ones. Thought it was funny.
Yeah. Also, let's not get started on the fact that Nordic Games kept the THQ name and, in fact, put it in front of their name, because nothing sells games like naming your company after a defunct publisher.
Man, don't be so mean. I like THQ, all right? Stop being a dick. I know they went under. I know they poorly managed their money, but come on, man. They made some good shit.
It's just like everything about THQ Nordic is just questionable to me when it comes to business practices. Not that I know business. I'm hardly any like numbers guy that's just behind the counter crunching this stuff out, and I can hardly tell trends. It just doesn't it seem weird to you? Doesn't this seem odd?
That they're just becoming THQ slowly?
Yeah, but look what happened to THQ. That's what I'm saying. It just feels weird.
Yeah, but how else are we going to get Saints Row 5?
Yeah, fair enough.
There you go.
Anyways, enough about Darksiders 3. Let's go ahead and talk to probably the next biggest story from last week, and that was the fact that a whole bunch of Far Cry 3 rumors were going around. Now, there was like some Instagram posts of Rook Island, which was the island of Far Cry 3, saying in French along the lines of, hey, do you remember we were here last? Does that remind you of something? There was another picture of Voss, who was the main villain to Far Cry 3, doing his iconic I'm going to squat on the beach with someone's head down there. And the internet was ablaze of people going, oh my god, we're going back to Far Cry 3's island. It's going to be a prequel, or it's going to be an add-on, or we're going back to that world. Well, hate to bust your bubber, but a PR rep did speak to Game Informer about that, saying that we have heard back... Game Informer rather said, we have heard back from an Ubisoft PR rep who has clarified to us that was simply a throwback post and not a tease for anything. So Ubisoft is flat out denying that these Instagram posts were any tease for an upcoming Far Cry 3 throwback.
Dude, why the hell would they go back to Far Cry 3?
Because Voss was amazing. The problem is Voss was only the first third of the game.
That breaks their formula. And, I mean, Voss part's done. Why the hell would he be back?
Yeah. Well, when this story first started coming out, I was thinking maybe it was going to be like an origin story for that character. Because Far Cry does one thing really well, and is have great, memorable villains. The Jackal from 2 was awesome. Voss from 3 was awesome. Pagan Min from 4 was fantastic.
The laser dinosaurs from Blood Dragon were awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. But it looks like Ubisoft is killing this rumor before it gets spread out too fast. But there are a bunch of other rumors going around. If you look up some of the forums, you'll hear about they might have been shooting a live-action trailer in Montana. And residents of a town in Montana were confirmed as saying, yeah, they're filming something for a video game, and it was Ubisoft that was up there. There are other hints and allegations that might be set in the American West, back during like the Gold Rush era, or maybe up in northern Montana. We don't know for certain. And all of these could be potentially a new Far Cry game, just because Ubisoft is saying, hey, these images didn't mean anything. Doesn't mean you won't get an announcement for Far Cry anytime soon. E3 is around the corner. It has been a while since we visited this franchise, and Ubisoft loves to make games from their franchises yearly almost. So,
well, 2 things.
We'll see.
2 things I take away from this. 1, there's 0 chance that there's another Far Cry coming out this year.
I don't know.
Because if these rumors are even partially founded, there is no fucking chance. Actually, I mean, I guess there could be. That Ubisoft will be stupid enough to release a Wild West game this year.
Because of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Because you know what's coming out this year? Red Dead Redemption 2. who the fuck would look at anything Ubisoft comes out with when Red Dead Redemption 2 is out?
Ubisoft also has their
that release is gonna make all other games gone. It's gonna be a fucking ghost town when that game launches.
Yeah, absolutely. Ubisoft also has the Assassin's Creed game, a franchise they've taken a year off to kind of revamp and redo, coming out later this year. Rumor is that's going to be called Assassin's Creed Origins now. It's supposed to take place in ancient Egypt. And I don't think that they would release two big titles during the same quarter competing against each other. So you're probably right.
It doesn't make sense.
This game would be next year.
I still feel bad for
Battlefield, Titanfall humor. Anyways, let us know what you think about the Far Cry 3 franchise continuing down in the chat below or the comments and all that good stuff. And we will see what responses are next week. While on the topic of Ubisoft, there is another game that for the most part has all been confirmed to be real. And that is Mario and Rabbids. This story comes via Kotaku by Jason Schreier, the guy who leaks almost everything these days, it sounds like. One of this fall's big Nintendo Switch games will be Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, a game that has been rumored for quite some time and does indeed exist as confirmed by art assets provided to Kotaku. This game will mix Nintendo's iconic plumber and friends with characters from Ubisoft's popular Rabbids series. Ubisoft is developing Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle on the publisher's proprietary Snowdrop engine, according to the assets we've seen. The game's selling points appear to be A, turn-based combat, B, two-player local co-op, and C, a goofy sense of humor. I did list this as a quote-unquote rumor because it's not been officially confirmed yet, but if Kotaku actually has fucking art assets for the game, this thing exists. This is going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. So here's the thing, because we actually were aware of this for a really long time. If you remember the Switch tech specs that released, 4 months ago, and the list of upcoming Nintendo Switch games that accompanied, and the fact that there was a as yet unannounced Nintendo Ubisoft partnership RPG styled game that everyone was talking about, like maybe Super Mario RPG 2 is coming out, but Ubisoft is there instead of Squaresoft and blah blah blah. This is I think what we're getting, and I doubt it's going to be anywhere near the quality of a Super Mario RPG. I don't want anyone to put their eggs in that basket because they're fucking Rabbids. And from the rest of that article, they mentioned the fact that the characters that are playable in the game, there's 8, which is like Mario, Peach, Luigi, and Toad. And then Rabbid versions of Mario, Peach, Luigi, and Toad.
So you'll have a rabbit with like a red Mario hat, or a Toad with a rabbit with a mushroom hat, or something. That's dumb.
I don't know. Turn-based combat though, in a Nintendo Mario property, that's always cool.
It could be solid. Remember, Mario RPG was fun.
Well, there's also the fact that this game is going to be on a Nintendo console, so Nintendo's going to have a hand in it, which means it's actually going to run on the thing it comes out in.
Yeah.
Despite Ubisoft's best efforts, it will run on the system it's launched for, because it's not coming out for PC or any of that.
The leaks you're referring to earlier was from a journalist by the name of Laura Dale, I believe, and she released a bunch of Nintendo Switch hardware specs, which, if my memory serves correctly, were actually very accurate. And then she released a bunch of software stuff, like software predictions and what she heard.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was not true or panned out to be not correct. But this was on that list. If my memory serves. It's been a while since I had to think about that.
I mean, we talked about it in like December, so it's whatever.
Yeah, it's been quite a long while. Just checking one thing here. All right, let's go ahead and get on to our...
Well, I'm gonna swing this sideways. You got a Switch yet? Did you end up picking up one?
Yeah, I have one.
That's what I thought.
It is a fantastic Zelda machine.
I need a Switch. I do. I've decided. As much as I'm mad at Nintendo, and as much as Nintendo is just a business and they don't give two fucks about anybody, God, I just like the idea of just playing Zelda wherever the fuck.
It's hard to bitch about that price too.
Right? Well, and I tend to fly a bit for like actual work and shit, so having something like that would be handy.
Yeah, it was great on a plane. I had a 6-hour flight, and that thing was fucking amazing on that flight.
We've talked about the list of killer apps that would get me to buy a Switch, and I think the quantity has dwindled for me.
You want more
just
quality.
Because of the universal acclaim and the fact that a lot of the issues that we addressed with the very notable exception of the save game issue that we've talked about in previous episodes, have been mostly resolved, or at least they're not newsworthy anymore.
Right. Also, if you're worried about it bending your Switch by putting it in a dock or anything like that, I have yet to hook mine up to the TV. I don't even bother.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it is a 100% handheld console for me, and that is what it will always be.
Yeah, dude, that's all I really want it for. I don't need it on my TV.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? Anyways, next topic. Hold on. Lost my notes here. Here we go. Next topic.
Oh.
Another new game announced today, actually, and that is that Risk of Rain 2 is in development.
Yep.
Hoopo Games dev blog shows a small little gift of some concept of what they're going with. As you can see, they're doing a 3D version of it. Risk of Rain, if you guys don't know, is a hard-as-nails roguelike platformer, and surprisingly fun.
This game actually making the transition to 3D makes me super excited for it.
See, I'm the exact opposite of that.
Don't get me wrong. I like 2D platformers. I do. But my youth, I know your youth was more 2D than mine, but like going old school, shitty looking 3D platformer games, that's my jam.
Like Bubsy or the old original Jak and Daxter and shit.
Yeah.
Hoopo Games has been working on the sequel for about 6 months now, and the game is still very, very early in development, according to the game dev blog here. None of the systems,
they've
art
done
styles,
barely anything.
Yeah, none of the systems, art styles, assets, or game design choices will necessarily translate to the final game, but Risk of Rain 2 is going to be their first fully 3D project. We think that 3D allows for much deeper design spaces and more possibilities for cool gameplay. The feeling of scale and atmosphere are also much stronger. We are really happy with the core of Risk of Rain, and we're finding it plays even better in 3D. And, I mean, it definitely looks like a Risk of Rain game. If you were to show this to me, I'd be like, yeah, that's Risk of Rain. But, man, I don't know if I like that 3D aspect. I know you're sold on it. I can't say I am.
I will probably enjoy this game more than Risk of Rain.
All right. But, yeah, you could probably expect to hear more about that over the next coming months, but don't expect to see that game for at least another couple years. Remember that Hoopo Games.
Dude, I'll sign up for that. I'll sign up for that alpha list. Does it need anyone to test? Hey guys.
Hoopo Games is still in indie dev, so it's going to take them a little bit more time than normal. Next story is going to be something that kind of sets me off. I don't know if any of you have heard of a game called Praey of the Gods. Praey for the Gods.
That is a game that was on Kickstarter.
Yep.
And they got a bunch of funding.
Yep.
And they've been chugging away, as far as I know.
It kind of looks like a really dark, atmospheric Shadow of the Colossus. Where rather than the monsters just walking around minding their own business and you're a dude that climbs up and fucks them up, these things are actively hunting your ass to eat you. Looked really cool. Super excited for it. Still look for it to comes out. But apparently Bethesda took issue with the fact that their name had Praey in it, because apparently Bethesda owns the fucking word Praey now. And they struck them with
I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah,
I like how they keep coming after games with a single fucking word.
Yeah, fuck that, by the way. And it has forced this developer to change the name of Praey of the Gods to Praey with an EA in there, that weird Latin Aether sign. According to their dev blog right here at No Matter Studios, let me scroll down to where it's at. Here it goes. Well, you really now pray for the gods? Oh yeah, that. So we didn't want to do this, but we had to change our game name for Praey of the Gods to Praey of the Gods. Thankfully, we get to keep the logo, but we will spell it Praey of the for the gods. Honestly, we could make the entire newsletter about our thoughts on this. Trademark law is what we were dealing with, and we aren't under any NDA, so we can state the opposition in the situation. Bethesda Zenimax. I can't fucking talk today, and I apologize. Long story short, the paragraph goes on to say that Bethesda Zenimax came after them because they had the word fucking Praey in there. Now, this is absolutely moronic, and this isn't the first time Bethesda's done this. They went after Mojang for creating scrolls.
Again, I know you keep saying Bethesda, and I know Bethesda has a hand in it, but it's fucking ZeniMax's lawyers, dude.
Yeah, you're right. But you're right.
They are litigious as fuck. They are like the Harmony Gold of motherfucking publisher teams.
And that's exactly what this is. This is fucking copyright troll bullshit. There is no reasonable way Praey for the Gods can be reasonably considered infringing on what Praey is. Zenimax.
Seriously.
Bethesda.
It's a fucking space horror FPS in a laboratory versus like a fucking snowy adventure game.
This is a fucking shakedown, and what pisses me off is that if the developers for Praey of the Gods were to go to court over this, they would fucking win. But Zenimax fucking knows that these guys are a small team. They can't afford a legal staff to go to bat for them, so they fucking push them around and slap them about knowing that they can fucking get their way. It's fucking disgusting. Zenimax. This is fucked up beyond the pale. Stop doing this. You're literally pushing around small developers because you think you own the fucking word Praey? Because you think the game Praey for the Gods could be confused for the game Praey that came out? How can those two things be fucking confused? If anything, you should be pissed off that you have two games now that show up in the Steam library as the exact same fucking name, not even stylized differently. Look it up. If you own Praey from way back when, remember the Tommy and the Native American the Indians, and the new fucking Praey, and you look at your Steam list, they put them in the same fucking game folder because you didn't change the name on them. But you fucking expect another developer to go out of their way to change shit when you can't even be half-assed to name your games differently? Fuck off.
Well then,
I'm like legitimately pissed because this is like the classic example.
We've talked about this several times. This is the argument. I think I was where you are right now when the whole Scrolls thing went down.
I was a little bit more
stupid.
Yeah.
It's just legal bullshit. They're doing it because they can. They're doing it because they knew the team doesn't have the money to fight them on it. And here's the thing. This just makes Zenimax and Bethesda pop up again in search engines. It doesn't do them. Nothing bad will happen to them because of this.
No. If anything, at least got
literally, besides me and you, no one gives a flying fuck. No one will pay attention. Zenimax will not lose any sales. Bethesda is not going to fucking bat an eye about this. It won't matter at all. But for the studio that's getting hammered with this, these guys are probably all bummed.
Yeah, fuck
it's a small team, and they're getting fucked out of their name.
At least they're getting some coverage for their game now that this has fucking come up in the news again. And when the Scrolls thing happened, I kind of took a step back and went, okay, I can see where Bethesda's coming from. Because this is the first time I heard them doing, or even Zenimax, this is the first time I heard them do something like that. But every instance of this fucking happening from that fucking publisher shows that they are just a copyright troll on the levels of, like you said, Harmony Gold or fucking Interplay these days. You're no better than Interplay, Zenimax. How does that make you feel? You should be fucking ashamed. I need to get that on my chest. That's been like boiling up for the past week.
No, dude, that's fair. It's fucking stupid. It's one of those things. We talked about a company that pisses us off. You want to talk about a company that's actually really fucking cool?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about how the fact that some dude found StarCraft, like the original StarCraft source code, and Blizzard has hooked him up with all kinds of shit to give it back.
Master source code disk.
Yeah.
So the way the story goes is there's this guy. He made a post on I think Reddit and Imgur and all that nonsense about how he had found a gold source code master disk for StarCraft when he bought a lot online. So yeah, I think he just bought like a shed or whatever that had a bunch of Blizzard stuff in it, or just I don't know, fucking buy a lot online, however that works. And he ended up getting this disc. He didn't think anything of it. He thought it might have been a fake, and then he ended up contacting Blizzard about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that shit's ours. That shit was stolen. Can we have that back?" And proceeds to send it back, and gets the fuck off ton of shit from Blizzard.
Yeah, he didn't ask for anything. I mean, he could have sold it again. It might have had some legal ramifications because it's technically stolen property. But he was just like, "Yeah, sure, here." And according to his Reddit post, the user by the name is Kehmist49, Kehemist, K-H-E, Mist49. According to his Reddit post... Chemist. Yes, there we go. According to his Reddit post, a few days later, he got a copy of Overwatch and $250 in Blizzard Store credit. And I'd be like, shit, cool, they didn't even have to do that. Awesome.
Right, that's awesome.
And then he gets a call from Blizzard directly going, hey, thanks for returning the disc. Have you ever heard of BlizzCon? Would you like to go? Here's tickets to BlizzCon, and we're going to pay all of your expenses and have drinks with you afterwards. Fucking awesome. But then, on top of that, he got this big-ass package in the mail, which you can see on here, full of
No, it was at the end of the phone call. The guy said, "Oh, by the way, you should be getting something in the mail." And then he got fucking. The funny thing is, I'm actually acutely aware of the fact that Blizzard Studios where they're located in Irvine, is actually across the street from Razer. So those guys see each other constantly, all the time. That's why there's actually so much Blizzard like branded Razer gear, just because they're literally across the street from each other. I've actually seen both offices, and they're pretty cool. But yeah, he ended up with the Razer Black Widow Chroma, the what the fuck, I don't remember the name of all their shit.
Like the Black Mamba mouse, the headset, which I think is actually the headset that I'm using right now, but it's the Overwatch branded one.
Like the Tiamat, or I don't even remember what they're called anymore. But then he also got Diablo 3 and some plushies and all kinds of good shit.
Yeah, I mean, good on Blizzard. He didn't have to give the game to him, and Blizzard didn't have to give shit back to him. So, I mean, it's cool to see this. Neither side really asked for anything, and they're both being cool to each other. And that's what I fucking want to see between a publisher and the audience. That's what I want to see between developers and gamers. Not this fucking legal bullshit that goes after someone for using the word fucking Praey, which you don't own the rights to, Bethesda Zenimax. Fuck off.
Seriously.
Blizzard.
We should actually start some bullshit litigation against a bunch of people for using the word game.
I think we would lose that.
No, dude, we got this.
In fact, I want to kind of stay relatively unknown, because I guarantee you that if we ever get big enough, our name would be sued into oblivion.
Nah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, there has to be someone out there that already has this.
There's no way. You Google it, nothing comes up. We're not even famous.
Blizzard. Awesome on you for doing the right thing. Zenimax, take some fucking notes. EA, stop ruining businesses, even if they're not publishers that I don't care about. And that leads us to the next story. PopCap gets cuts.
PopCap.
As we know...
For those unfamiliar, those are the Plants vs. Zombies guys.
Plants vs. Zombies, I believe they're the Peggle guys as well. Last week on their Twitter account, they did show a note from their GM that was shared with PopCap Seattle today. Long story short, at the very end there, it just says that they've made the difficult decision to reduce the size of our team in Seattle, and we're refocusing key titles and new projects. We're saying goodbye to some talented colleagues and friends today, and that hurts. We will help them with severance and other assistance, and wish them, every single one of them, the best, absolute best. PopCap Seattle isn't going anywhere, blah, 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 blah. Cuts always suck. And I kind of lashed out at EA at the beginning of this. It's not necessarily even their fault. If a game is wrapped up, you get cut. If things aren't doing what they want, they get cut. It's just EA tends to have a nasty history of buying up studios.
I was going to say, we need to address the fact that EA owns PopCap, and that's exactly why this is happening.
Yeah, EA does have a history of buying up studios and then laying off most, if not all, their staff.
Slashing them to ribbons.
Let's see. They did it with Westwood way back then. Maxis most recently, as far as I can remember. PopCap now. Jesus, I had a whole list in my head. Now it's all gone. But
hold on. Maxis,
yeah.
Mythic, Bullfrog, Origin, Westwood, DreamWorks, Nomic, Black Box Games, Pandemic, Playfish, New Effects, and now PopCap.
RIP Pandemic, by the way. Those are the guys that made Mercenaries 1 and 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Not only that,
PopCap
but I think
is still existing. The list that I just rattled off is actually the list of studios that EA bought and then shut the fuck down.
I think Pandemic was actually a bunch of ex-Westwood Studios guys that fled that company after EA bought Westwood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not positive on it, but I think that's how they went. But yeah, there is a history of EA buying a place and shutting things down to trim off the fat. I don't think you or I are really into Plants vs. Zombies or Peggle or any of that stuff, but still, our thoughts and condolences to anyone that lost their jobs in that cut. A bunch of
cool-ass kids is losing their jobs, and I don't like to see that, especially in this industry.
That sucks.
I like this industry.
It's a good industry. Next topic. Remedy and 505 Games have inked a publishing deal together, and it's still not going to be Alan Wake 2. Remedy, as you all know, is the company
you said that line, and I'm interested, like immediately uninterested. So bored.
Yeah. Remedy is the company that brought you Alan Wake, Max Payne, more recently Quantum Break. All of them are family great games. And they have joined forces with 505 Games to publish their upcoming AAA game. This is directly from the press release itself. Quote, 505 Games, a Digital Bro subsidiary. By the way, I like the name Digital Bros better than 505 Games. I don't know why those two aren't reversed.
Right?
secures exclusive 20-year rights to the next game from Remedy Entertainment, renowned developer of AAA video game franchises, with an investment of 7.75 million euros, I believe that is. A new worldwide PC and console publishing agreement with Remedy Limited for a brand new game for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, including Steam, across both digital and retail versions. The new game, codenamed Project 7, is a cinematic third-person action game set in a new Remedy-created universe. Featuring an intriguing story and game structure offering long-lasting experience, P7 contains the deepest game mechanics in a Remedy game yet. That last sentence right there is the key one, because it shows that this is, or those last two sentences rather, that this is not going to be Alan Wake, a Max Payne game, a Quantum Break game. This is a new IP that they're creating. As far as the details of the deal itself, the group will publish a brand new game by contributing the $7.75 million in development funding and providing marketing and publishing services through 505 Games for digital and retail versions worldwide. The agreement includes a payment of 45% royalties on net sales. I like the fact that they mentioned that, because it's essentially saying they're going to give them almost 8 million euros, and in return, they're going to get 45% of the profit back from that.
Yep.
I like how simple that is, too. How it's explained.
There's not
simply.
a bunch of legalese. There's not a bunch of weird bullshit. It's like, here's this bunch of money. The game you make, we're going to get about half of. That's what's up.
I like that they spelled that out so simplistically. It's nice to see. It's refreshing to see. But the part that you guys care about is this is an Alan Wake 2. And honestly, I go, eh. But I like Remedy.
Yeah.
I love Max Payne. Loved Quantum Break. Looking forward to what they can see. Looking forward to seeing what they can do. I just wish it was Alan Wake 2 finally. And
you're just not getting it, man.
No.
It's not happening. We've talked about it.
The good news is
you're not allowed.
The good news is about this too is that Remedy tends to be very slow with their development, and I'm hoping that teaming up with a publisher is going to help turnaround time, because it's going to take away some of the stuff that they have to deal with. They can focus on creating the game now, and they don't have to worry about bullshit like, oh, we have to have we have to send out press releases, and we have to show up here. They have a company to handle that shit for them now. So with any luck, they can crank this out in a faster turnaround than most of their shit is.
Sounds good.
We might get some more word on that come E3, but I'm sure we'll see. And while speaking of E3, let's go ahead and talk about the fact that there's going to be, for the first time ever at E3, panels and guest features called E3 Coliseum.
Well, I think the key thing to take up is that E3 is open to people, regular ass people, normal people like you and me.
Yes. E3 Coliseum is being kicked off by Jeff Keighley, it seems like. And as an aside, I know the joke is Jeff Keighley's the Dorito Pope, and that is a funny picture. I actually like Jeff Keighley. I appreciate what he tries to do. I know the Game Awards are kind of a clusterfuck of horrible marketing. I mean, we all remember the Schick Hydrobot, right? But,
oh, yeah, dude.
You know?
Well, here's the thing. Like, at least Jeff fucking believes in all of it.
Exactly.
Like, he goes... It might not be the best thing ever, but he fucking goes hard every time.
Yeah, and I think he's legitimately trying to make gaming as respected as movies and television is in the eyes of America. He might not necessarily go about it in the right way, but at least I feel I can respect what his motives are. But anyways, he is teaming up with E3 to bring the culture of games to life through 2 days of panels, conversations, talks, and other surprises. For the past 6 months, they've been working with all major game teams to curate special presentations that would take place at Lenovo in LA live on Tuesday, June 13th and Wednesday, June 14th. I think this is actually going to be the first time panels have ever been at E3. And it sounds like they're going to start the process of turning E3 from a trade show into more of a convention. Because publishers have been pulling out of E3.
Well, there's no reason to go because there's no people there.
Yeah, it was always a trade show.
Since it is a behind closed doors event, it's lost a lot of public focus. I mean, with the rise of PAX and like Tokyo Game Show and I mean everything else really. I mean, the Game Developers Conference has more going on than E3.
This is
it makes sense that they need to double down and they need to actually make themselves relevant again.
Absolutely. This is their move to turn an E3 from a trade show into a convention. Publishers scheduled to host panels include the following: Activision, Bethesda Softworks, Microsoft, Gearbox, Sony Interactive Entertainment, Square Enix, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, with more in the coming weeks. Essentially, these are the people who have not pulled out of E3 yet. Notice that EA is not on there. I think EA has completely pulled out. Notice there's no Nintendo on there. Nintendo has stopped going to E3 for a while now. I'm fine with this. I am all for opening up things. Hey, PudaCat TV. PudaCat TV? PudaCat TV? PudaCat. Whatever. Hey, thanks. What do you think about the new Mario Kart 8? Great for a game.
I don't have it yet.
Great for a game that came out last year.
I actually desperately want Mario Kart 8. Dude, okay, fuck you for one, right? Because here's the thing. Mario Kart 8 may come on Wii U, but no one fucking played it.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't played it, it's new to you, right?
Exactly. No one played that goddamn game because no one owned a Wii U.
That said, that game is amazing on Switch.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
All right.
Dude, I'm loving all the videos and clips I'm seeing of just the heinous shenanigans of people just getting like blue shelled, double red shelled, super murdered at the finish line. It's so good.
You could do vile ass things to people on that.
Yeah, that's just the way Mario Kart works.
Yeah.
Although we did talk about this a little bit, the fact that Mario Kart 8 now has so many characters that are not Mario related. When are we just getting Super Smash Kart?
Yeah, I mean, it's close to being fighting game ridiculous as far as that stuff goes.
Well, because you can play as a Splatoon character on a Zelda level driving an F-Zero car. None of that has anything to do with Mario.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
And I know I've heard
this makes sense.
Nintendo
I like
Kart,
this idea.
Fuck Nintendo Kart. Smash Kart, way better. So just so you guys know.
Sorry, I need to type something real quick.
Sorry, I just want that rebranded. I'd be so excited because here's the thing: if we can get them to switch and think more Smash Brothers related, because what's the cool thing that Smash Brothers has done before? They've pulled in characters from other franchises, other companies, and if Mario Kart was able to do that, like imagine if Solid Snake was in Mario Kart, like they could go to town. I'd be so excited.
To be right into Hind D.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, there's potential there.
There's like
I can see what you're saying.
Level. That'd be great. So excited.
Anyways, enough about games that have come out earlier. Let's talk about games that are coming out this week, David.
Oh, dude, new games? Oh, well, we can talk about the fastest, bloodiest, deadliest, most adjective-abusing, action-packed first-person shooter of 1996, which is releasing this week for PC and PS4. That's a game called Strafe.
The marketing for this is fucking fantastic, by the way.
It's so good. I
love every second of the trailers of the 90s and 80s cheese. It's amazing. Published by Devolver Digital. You know, those guys always love the weird shit.
I love Devolver Digital, and this game just looks hilarious. It's very old school Doom. It's got like that Unreal feel of like fast paced, just shooting things. The graphics look kind of trashy, but it's new school trashy. So it's very blocky polygon related, but they're clean polygons. You notice that?
Yeah. It's like, imagine if you could take like the 1994 version of Quake, but put it on a machine of today and uncap the frame rate lock to it. It looks that smooth.
I'm actually really excited to play Strafe.
I did go over it myself. What else is coming?
Anyway, that's PC, PS4. Oh, there's also Rime, which is coming out this week, which is actually a third-person like adventure puzzle game put together by Tequila Works. That game's got a little bit of a history. I think you can get more into it, but I remember it was like greenlit by Microsoft, and they said, "No, fuck you guys." And then Sony picked it up, and now it's a PS4 exclusive, I think.
So what happened was Tequila Works, these are the guys that made Deadlight on PC and PlayStation and Xbox, the 2D zombie game. Rime was pitched to Microsoft, I believe, for their Summer of Arcade stuff for their XBLA program, and Microsoft turned them down. So they went to Sony. Sony said, okay, here's some dev kits, work on it. And then Sony eventually came in to see how the game was coming along, and this is all rumor, by the way. You can research on it if you want. But the rumor is Sony realized that the game that they were pitched didn't exist. They were just shown like a faked trailer. And so they actually took the dev kits back. And that is a move that Sony... That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen much at all. But eventually this game has come a long way since then. It's finally being released on Sony platforms of all things. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays. If you want more on the drama between Sony and Tequila Works, I highly recommend looking into it. It's really fucking weird, but goes really deep into the weeds about the game development process and relationships with publishers. And it was very just unusual what Sony's response to this was.
That's fair. Well, anyway, let's talk about a game that's going to sell way more copies than Rime is. Like, just outrageously more copies than Rime is. That's going to be the Farming Simulator 17 Big Bud expansion. An expansion to Farming Simulator 17. That game that continues to sell like hotcakes because people love virtual farming.
Yeah, it's not like a million. It's not like a million copies seller.
We got to talk about this. For the first time ever in a farming simulator game, you can play as the monstrous Big Bud 747 tractor. It's
I am shocked that it's not called the Big Bud 420 tractor. That is a missed fucking opportunity.
Well, no, it's a 747. It's like a legit thing. And then there's also its smaller brother, which is the Big Bug 450. That one you could call the 420.
So there's
new equipment from Bednar, Great Plains, Grigor Besson, Seedhawk, more. I think those are all farming-related companies. I don't know what the fuck any of that is. John Deere. I don't think they use John Deere. I don't think they're into it.
I have no idea. But this does get mentioned because there is a surprisingly large cult fan base to Farming Simulator. It's like you see like those football manager games. You wouldn't think many people would be into that. A fuck ton of people are into those games. And this falls in that category.
Fun. Especially if you're drunk. You just hire a dude to work your fields, and then you go drag race trains in a tractor.
Sounds great. What else we got?
It's so great. Actually, a game that I'm excited for because it's actually a little bit of a bummer. I have to admit that I still don't own this game, and I've wanted it for a really damn long time. And that's Forza Horizon 3. Because I didn't have Windows 10. I actually just finally got Windows 10 a month ago, and I just haven't picked it up because there's been so much shit that's come out this year that I don't have time. But this week, the Hot Wheels expansion is hitting, which looks amazing. If you take a look at the Horizon 3 Hot Wheels trailer, it just looks like damn fun. Rocket League, I have to admit, did it first with their Hot Wheels content, so Hot Wheels is realizing they can sponsor some car-related games and get a bunch of publicity. But the Twin Meal's back. The Roadster, or whatever it's called, is in the game as well. A whole bunch of cool Hot Wheels cars. But the big thing is you get to play on all the cool Hot Wheels tracks. There's loop-de-loops, there's jumps, there's figure eights with a bunch of destruction. It actually looks fun as shit.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at it. Forza Horizon 3
if you got a
looks
device
beautiful.
that's playing Forza Horizon 3, you can take a look at that.
What else we got?
So we also have NBA Playgrounds for PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. I always have to mention Switch games when they're coming out. So it's like NBA. It's like a new school NBA Jam, actually. I was gonna say it's like a Nintendo-looking NBA Street, but I'm gonna call it NBA Jam at a new school. So the big thing that I know about this is it's more arcadey style basketball game. Everyone's got like giant heads. It looks very cartoony. But a note to anyone who's looking at this game for the Switch, as of right now, that game does not have online play.
Because the Switch doesn't have online play. Or does it?
Correct. We still don't know what the fuck Switch does online.
No, the Switch has to do stuff online. Mario Kart's online.
Well, right now the Switch version of NBA Playgrounds, I keep wanting to call it like Jam 2017 or something, does not have online play, but it does have online play on the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
Nintendo's online structure sucks.
It always has and always will, and yet they're going to charge money for it.
But yeah, Mario Kart, you could play Mario Kart online. I know that for a fact.
Anyway, enough about that. I don't need to talk about NBA anymore. We can talk about a far more important game releasing this week, and that's Loco Remastered for PS4. Hell yes. I'm so
excited. I am buying that.
Classic. Loco Roco is fantastic. It throws you in that jelly creature-filled world where they sing and dance and bounce their way through different levels. You basically just kind of tilt them around, and it's like a simple-ish puzzle solver that's got a little bit of complexity. They like to move around a lot. I don't know. It's got like really cute music. Loco Roco is just fun.
Yeah, that and Patapon, baby.
Yeah, dude. They just hit that spot inside you. It's So good. So also coming out, we have Birthday's the Beginning. This is actually from the creator of Harvest Moon, Mr. Yasuhiro Wada. I think that's mostly correct. But it's like a gardening game, sort of. It looks very voxel based. Think Minecraft blocks all the time. You create cube-shaped worlds, and as you progress and make the world in different shapes, you can make different parts grasslands, different parts mountains, different parts snowy, different part water, all this stuff. Actual diverse and unique life forms will start spawning, so you can kind of have your own little evolution going. You get cool, cute little wolf guys. You get some sweet, ferocious dinosaurs.
It reminds me a little bit like
There's
a Minecraft crossed with the God game. Remember the God games back in the late 90s, like Black and White and Populous?
I'd almost want to throw like Spore in the mix, but it's got more of a fixed perspective on what the creatures can look like.
Let's give it a second here, David. It looks like you're coming in and out.
Yeah, well, that's what happens.
All right, I think it's fine now.
Yeah,
what's the last game that's coming out this week? Again.
Oh, let's talk about this game that's come out at least 8,000 times. It's Minecraft, but for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, Minecraft.
If you honestly need me to explain what Minecraft is, what the fuck have you been doing for like 8 years? The only thing you need to know is the new Minecraft is going to have 8-player online play for the Switch. 4 players can play local multiplayer. Also, the Switch version of Minecraft will include the Super Mario mashup pack. That's all I'm going to talk about Minecraft.
It's Mario on the Switch. I mean, or
Minecraft
Mario on the Switch. Minecraft on the Switch. You guys know what
Minecraft
both of those are.
Go.
You have Minecraft on the go. Laptops, tablets.
Well, how about you have it in a more convenient fashion because it's not on your fucking phone?
I'm pretty sure it is on your iPhone. I'm not positive on that, but I think it is on the iPhone.
No. It is on phones. Don't get me wrong. It is on phones. But have you tried playing Minecraft on a phone? Because it's fucking garbage. I don't care what anyone says.
Fair enough. Anyways, I think that wraps things up for new releases. This is going to bring us to the final segment of the show, and that is Topic of the Week. We always encourage people watching us live or on YouTube to comment and tell us what your ideas behind this is and join in the conversation here. And this week's Topic of the Week are crossover games. Going back to the Mario Rabbids crossover, that seems very likely up there. But Mario and Rabbids isn't the strangest combination of video games that we've had. Remember, there's been Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. We've had Spawn, Link, Snake, and various fighting games. And let us not forget the strangest of all crossovers, Battletoads and Double Dragon.
That game was dope. Shut up.
That game was dope, but still very, very strange.
It's true.
So what we're asking today is, what video game crossover would you like to see? It could be silly, most of mine are, or it can be serious. But do more than just say the name. Give us an idea of what that game would be. Give us an idea of how it would play. Give us an idea of what you would like to see in it. I have 3 I'm going to mention. David, how many do you have?
I got 3.
Let's go ahead and start with you then. I have 2 silly and a serious one.
I'll throw my honorable mention in first because it's already happened.
Okay.
But the first thing I was going what's funny is the first thing this made me think was the fact that Solid Snake was in Smash Brothers. Because the first thing I was trying to think of is, what could you put Solid Snake in? Oh, that's right. He was already in a fucking Nintendo game. So, boom, category over. But besides that, the first one I have actually includes everyone's favorite blue bomber that hasn't been around in quite a while. And a property that I think could do well if it had the proper amount of love applied to it. So, I'm going to go with a crossover of Watch Dogs and Mega Man.
Okay, explain it.
Now,
I don't get it.
Through this. Now, don't start with like the Mega Man traditional series. Don't start with Mega Man X. Don't think like that at all. What I want you to think of is the old school GameCube Mega Man Legends or whatever the fucking CD games were, where you actually hacked into systems and you had your own Mega Man that was going through that computer in order to hack or solve an algorithm or whatever they were trying to do. But then you're applying that to the Watch Dogs universe. So as you're going around in a fully rendered 3D environment and you try and hack into something, it then turns into a Mega Man-styled minigame where you're controlling a Mega Man-esque character throwing down with crazy baddies built into the machine.
All right.
I actually think that'd be fun, and it would give the hacking in Watch Dogs, for me, more entertainment.
I'm going to go ahead and go with mine now because it also involves Mega Man. I want to see a Mega
Excellent.
Man Metroid crossover. I want a Metroid game with Mega Man style bosses that you get new abilities from to go into new areas.
That leads me directly into my next one.
Okay.
Because yours is pretty simple.
Yeah.
You know what game we actually deserve? The
What is
game
that?
we've wanted? An actual, honest to God, bona fide Metroidvania. We use the term for 8 million games. We talk about it all the time. It's an entire facet of gaming as a culture. But an actual crossover?
So you want Samus and Alucard together?
Fighting evil? So here's the way I picture it.
I can
It's a
ship that.
co-op 2D side-scrolling platformer that features expandable levels, return to points, all Metroid games, shit tons of power-ups, health-based moves from Castlevania, and since you have two very different characters, basically you have something along the lines of Mother Brain crashed into Dracula's castle, and now a bunch of demons are affected with some space-ass viruses. So while Samus is busy upgrading her gun, Alucard's busy turning himself into a demon to fight all this evil.
Fucking hilarious. My second one.
But wouldn't you play that?
Yeah, I'd play the shit out of it. That sounds fantastic.
Right?
My second one is also silly. I want Grand Theft Auto Cross of Mario Kart.
Just like Grand Theft Auto, but in a Mario universe. So you're
Yes.
playing like Mario or Luigi, and you just kick some
No, I don't want
Rosalina-looking
Mario and
bitch out of
Luigi.
her car.
I want Trevor and Michael and I forget the
God.
guy's third name. I want them beating the shit out of Toads and getting in cartoonish carts driving around.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Like I said, these are silly. This is just meant to have fun. But I have one serious one for the end one.
Oh, dude, mine is the most serious one it could possibly be. Now, the problem is I didn't have room to write all of this down, but we can go back through the years. We can talk about how we're going to get a new Marvel vs. Capcom this year. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I'm very fucking excited for that. I like a lot of the Versus games. We've had Capcom versus SNK. Phenomenal games. Although the Tekken X Street Fighter games didn't work as well. But I've always had this fascination with these X fighting game based franchises, but I feel like we haven't gone far enough.
Okay.
Now, I need us to just throw straight up companies against each other. I want a Capcom, X Nintendo, X Sony, X Microsoft.
Well, after a while,
because
you
they
just
own
start
Rare,
getting into
and
Mugen.
Rare has Killer Instinct.
Fair enough. After a while, though, you just start getting into Mugen games. And then you have like Omega Tom Hanks versus the Killer Whale.
No, but see, here's the thing. I don't want the ridiculous, over-the-top nonsense that Mugen games have become. No, I want a bona fide roster just from several companies.
Fair
Not
enough.
2 companies versus, but like an actual 4-company versus
So
game.
you would have like, say, Master Chief, which is not unprecedented. I believe one of the Soul Calibers had, or a fighting game did have a Spartan in there somewhere. I don't remember which one. So you would say like you would have like Master Chief, Marcus Phoenix, the car from Forza,
Man versus car.
Nathan Drake, Jack from Jack and Daxter, Cole from Infamous, and then you have like Mario, Luigi, Bowser.
And I'd want it all to be built into like that Marvel vs. Capcom engine. So it's got that pseudo 3D but actually 2D styled fighter.
It's 2D, but you can interact with the environments in the background and stuff.
Yeah, and it's just a super cool multi-tiered fighting game with characters from everything you love. Now, the problem is that this game will never see the light of day because of the licensing rights involved.
Yeah, I mean, that's a clusterfuck right there, but we're talking fantasy.
That's why we have these topics, because it's fun to dream.
All right. My last one, and this is legit. This is actually a real game I actually want to see. This isn't silly like Grand Theft Mario Kart.
Dude, I want mine.
I want to see Civilization Resident Evil. Now, the premise behind it is you play a biological corporation like Umbrella. Your goal is to build up top a massive city while underneath a massive bioweapons lab.
Oh, shit.
You have to invest in the bioweapons lab for security, but you have to keep the city up top pristine to keep the illusion that nothing is going wrong there. And then you fuck with other civilizations.
And your disasters are the fact that you're sitting on top of a biolab.
Yes. And you fuck with other civilizations by causing sabotage to their biolabs, by trying to make outbreaks in those. Then you can send your troops in to try to gain funds and favor from the other cities out there. And then you
That'd
just
be
keep
fun as shit.
expanding. Your biolab gets bigger. You have to expand the city on top.
I would play the hell out of that game. I love
Like I said,
4X
that's
games,
like a
though.
legitimate idea I want to see happen.
That'd be fun.
A 4X game like Civilization Resident Evil, for example, where it's 2 layers. You have your city layer, then your biolab layer. I would love to see that.
Yeah, no, that's genius. You're smart.
Anyways,
That's a good one.
let us know what your what your ideal video game crossover would be. Take 2 franchises, take 2 concepts, smash them together, and then run with it. We'll try to adjust it when we can. I think that wraps things up, David, unless you have anything extra you want to say.
No, man, I'm good.
All right. Then without further ado, let's go ahead and end it here. This has been GamePoints episode 88. Thank you for watching. We do stream live every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here at Twitch TV/GamePoints. If you can't join us live, please feel free to go to our YouTube page. Just type in GamePoints, one word. We should pop right up. Like, subscribe, comment, dislike, follow, regardless of where you're at, do all that good stuff. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, it is at GamePoints PC. If you want to follow us individually, I am Stephen Brown at CapitalistPig21. That is David Smith over there at PastLife_Story. This has been GamePoints episode 88. Thank you for watching, and until next Monday, we are out of here.